Riley's terms. It says momentum works both ways. It calls it momentum when it goes backwards. 2-1 with nobody out. The bases loaded. That pitch in the dirt. And 3-1 to Larson. Hawkeyes liking this. Bats really haven't moved.
Well, you got one hit and one run.
As long as they stay in it, they probably will like the action. But if this is it for the day, not sure how thrilled they'll be with it. That's a ball, and another run will score. And Rob, still action going in the Bears bullpen. Chuck Schaefer, I believe, up throwing.
And I have a feeling that he was just told to heat it up in a hurry.
Bases still loaded. 6-2 SMS now. As Bob Mortis in there looks at ball one. Mortis has the Hawkeyes' only hit.
And it hasn't come in this inning. 5 walks.
Morris waits. Here's the pitch. Throw to back to third. That ball was called ball 2.
Well, that's the only chance to get an out right now that Edding has, because his pitchers are not helping him.
2-0 the count to Morris. Bears trying to keep as much of a lead as they can. Cut to 4. There's a called strike over the outside corner, and it's 2-1. How frustrated does the infield and outfield get during this stretch?
Very.
Nothing they can do about it.
And then there's more errors are made in situations like this because the guys are back on their heels.
Ground ball in the hole on the right side. 1 run is in. Here comes another run to score. Runners at first and third. And they're going to hold the runner back at first. Ball got briefly away from John Knott, but he's able to run it down. But runners at the corners. And the lead is cut to 2. 6-4. Bears on top. And Matt Krause comes in to bat. 2 RBIs and the base hit by Bob Morris. He still owns the only hits of the day for the Hawkeyes.
Well, there ruins a perfectly good afternoon for Bart Evans. He pitched much better than that. But see, all 4 of the runs who have scored this inning are his responsibility. So he ends up giving up 4 runs in 4 innings. And Keith Gutton is going out to get Craddock, who completed the walk to Polson that was charged to Evans because he entered the game with a 2-0 count. He then walked Larson on his own and gives up the single to Bob Morris.
I tell you what, that was not a leisurely stroll by Keith Gutton. That was a brisk walk to the mound. All of a sudden, this whole afternoon has changed. What has been a nice afternoon for the Bears so far, a good pitching performance early, and a nice 6-0 lead has evaporated, and we have a whole new game. And now a pitching change is being made. So we'll take a timeout again here in the top half of the 5th. Bears trying to hang on. They lead 6-4.
Number 31, Chuck Schaefer.
Wednesdays on
on the dirt road
all night.
Don't forget to pray for me.
All music. CMT, Country Music Television. All right.
2 free throws, and that kind of sets the stage.
4 runs home in the top of the 5th inning, courtesy of 5 walks and a single. So the Hawkeyes have 1 hit in this inning, and it just magnifies. Anytime you walk somebody, it just magnifies whatever hits you're able to get.
Get the bases full, and then you get a ball sharply hit, and all of of a sudden, yeah, you get in trouble.
And there are probably those who will say that Sauer, had he not been standing around out there for the entire inning, you have a tendency to get back in your heels. He might have had a better chance to get to that ball. I'm not saying he could. I'm just saying that's a tendency, is that the guys get back on their heels a little bit, and the reaction time is a little bit slower than normal.
Matt Krause, who is in replacing Dannon Hughes, who left the game with a sore finger, sore hand, is in. His only plate appearance was in the fourth. He struck out. He was called out on strikes, actually. Big center fielder steps in with runners at first and third, and the lead on the line for the Bears with nobody out in the fifth. Pitch to him is swung on and missed. And Chuck Schaefer coming in out of the bullpen. A nice first pitch, getting ahead 0-1.
Well, guys will be saying anything that's over the plate will be a definite improvement.
Next pitch upstairs, and that's ball one. 1-1 to Krause on a cool Saturday afternoon.
So right now the Bears have given back the 4 runs that they scored in the bottom of the fourth. Nobody out.
Tying runs on the bases, go-ahead run at the plate. And the Hawkeyes with 3 outs to give in the inning. Nobody's been called out yet. 2-1 now the count to Krause. The stretch, the pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 2-2. Here's the 2-2. It's in too tight. Krause dancing out of the way, and the count going full.
Well, if you want to go away from him, you got to get him off the plate first. And that's the spot to throw that pitch. See if he takes advantage of it and goes away from him.
Ground ball up the middle, though. Right to Aldridge at second. He steps in the bag, and they throw the first for the double play. But a run comes across as Larson steps through to make it 6-5. And Southwest is still on top, but now no base runners and 2 outs in the inning. Brett Backlund steps in and pops up the first pitch. Terry Edding chasing it, runs out of the room.
You know, they always say that walks will hurt you, and I say that, you know, baseball people, take a look at this inning. How many walks?
5.
How many runs scored?
5.
In the immortal words.
Wind, the pitch to Backlund is ball 1. 1-1 to Brett Backlund, who's 0 for 2 in the day.
And of the 6 walks issued by Bruins pitching, 5 of them have come across.
Pitch outside, it's 2-1.
And the line on Craddock is done. No innings, 1 hit, 1 run with a walk. And that man scored.
2-1 to Backlund. Popped up again, same spot. Although a little deeper this time, as Edding can't just took a look, knew he couldn't have a chance of that one. So it's 2-2.
You know, there's not much foul room in this ballpark at all, so just
Not
about
really.
anything is going to get out of play.
Pitch misses away, and the count goes full to Backlund. Chuck Schaefer, the 3rd Bears pitcher of the inning. Southwest still on top. The lead is a run, and now Gary Mitchell takes a walk from behind the plate. They double check the count.
So they have made the count full, 3-2.
We had that all along. The scoreboard was off by 1 ball, and the pitch is a ground ball, and that's another base hit to left. make a wide turn at first, does Backlund, but he holds right there. And with 2 outs, there's a runner back aboard as Kevin Minch steps to the plate.
The first baseman, Kevin Minch.
So the Hawkeyes keep the inning alive. Not about to give up on it yet. They've put up 5 runs and cut into a 6-run lead and have a chance to still chip away and maybe try to do something as Keith Gutton comes back out of the Bears dugout.
He took one look down to the bullpen before he visited the mound. And
that ball was sharply hit. Backlund turned on it.
He's got a left-handed batter up and a left-handed pitcher in the bullpen. Will we see the next change? And apparently we're going to. And it looks like that Andy Finley is going to get the call once again.
Number 9, Andy
Finley got the win over the Hawkeyes yesterday. Hopefully he can put the fire out here this afternoon.
And the natives are getting restless.
Yeah, you can tell. It's been restless for a while. Well, the Bears up by 1, and we'll take this time out.
That's at the half.
Real issues.
The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
Ed Beach back with Rob Evans in a 5th inning that is taking forever. But Bears still on top 6-5, still in the top half of the 5th with the runner aboard and 2 outs in the top half of the frame. Kevin Minch still in the on-deck circle as Andy Finley warms up, finishing his warm-up tosses. He's now the 4th Bears pitcher of the inning.
He's making his 6th appearance. He had 1 start. That was against Arkansas. He's 2-1 with a 7.71 ERA. 11 2/3 innings, 19 hits, 16 runs, 10 earned, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts.
He went 2 1/3 yesterday. It got the win over the Hawkeyes. Struck out 5 en route to the win. And his first pitch to Minch is upstairs for ball 1. Inning certainly taking a long time for the Bears fans. All of a sudden, some anxious moments in this one. 0-1 pitch is ball 2, or make it 1-0 pitch was ball 2 outside.
Well, the fact that he's had to come back with Finley today after going 2 1/3 yesterday lets you know that he's the 4th hurler of game 1.
That pitch is upstairs, and it's 3-0. Still have another game to go today. Stretch the 3-0. Minch had to be taking all the way. It's 3-1. I don't think at this point, well, new pitcher in there, maybe a little bit of a different story, but there for a while, nobody had to be swinging on 3-0 pitches.
Well, even with a new pitcher in there, first thing Andy did was go 3-0.
Runner goes. Pitch is a strike in the throw, and the runner is out. They nail Backlund on a steal attempt, and that finally ends the inning. We head to the bottom half of the 5th. Bears, after all that, still lead at 6-5 SMS.
What is a hit?
If it's on VH1, it's a hit.
The greatest hits of music video.
What is a hit? If it's on VH1, it's a hit.
The greatest hits of music video.
Ed Beach and Rob Evans back as we head to the bottom half of the 5th. Bears with 6 runs on 8 hits. Iowa with 5 runs off, get this, 3 hits, that's right. But SMS still up top, looking to try to get a bit of their lead back. Chad Lakin, Kevin Taylor, and Steve Aldridge due up for the Bears in the inning.
Turned what was a nice snappy ball game into about a 2-hour game through 5, which is slower than Christmas.
And correction, it's Kevin Taylor to lead it off in the bottom half of the 5th. Taylor, Aldridge, and Kruger now as we correct that. Here in the bottom half of the 5th, and the Bears up 1. Taylor on the first pitch grounds it foul on the left side. 0-1 the count to him. Matt Sturr, the pitcher for Iowa. Been a while since he's been out there. Bears have hit Iowa pitching fairly well today, looking to try to reestablish a cushion in this one. Count goes to 1-1. This is the part of the order that has given the Hawkeyes trouble today as well, but there's a called strike and it's 1-2. Taylor is 1 for 2 in the afternoon with a base hit and a run scored. Next pitch is swung on and missed. And Taylor strikes out. Second strikeout of the game for Sturr. And here's Steve Aldridge, who's 2 for 2 and has scored twice today. Aldridge takes a strike in the inside corner. Here's the 0-1. That swung on and missed. And it's 0-2 to Aldridge.
Kind of like the Mirage curve, you know, the kind that spins but doesn't break. And you swing and miss it. That's what I always threw, the Mirage curve. And then eventually I figured out that it wasn't a Mirage and started pinging it all over the yard, and that was the end of my career.
0-2 is in the dirt.
Didn't take them long to figure out, hey, you know that breaking stuff he throws up there, all it does is spin, baby. Then they start turning it around real fast.
Pitch in and in the dirt. And it's 2-2 to Steve Aldridge.
It would go in at about 55 or 60 and go out at about 90 or 91 with a little bit of lift to it.
In the dirt again, and after going ahead 0-2, it's now full to Aldridge. Wind the pitch. Who I guess still the difference in the game today. He had a two-run homer in the second. Scored also in the 4th when he reached on an error. This ball is slapped just foul left side. He got all that one. One out, bottom half of the 5th. Bears lead by 1. Kruger steps in and a throw to first. Aldridge back in. 0-1 the count to Corey Kruger. A snap throw to first, and again, Aldridge back in. Aldridge hasn't attempted a stolen base this season, but the Bears know what they might be thinking here because only a 1-run lead. Like to get a runner in scoring position and cushion it as much as they can. 1-1 now the count to Kruger.
Yeah, the Bears still have 3 at-bats left, so I'm not sure you're into sacrificing with a guy like Kruger just yet.
That's right. And it's inside, and it's 2-1.
Maybe starting the runner if the count gets right with a hit and run, maybe. But with Kruger, you can let him swing the bat.
Jeff Sauer waits on deck.
Did that earlier in the game and produced good results. Hit the 2-run homer. He reached on the error. He's the guy that hit the ball by the third baseman in what Iowa thought was the bunting situation earlier. And a visit to the mound, yeah.
Iowa bullpen still busy.
I've got a lefty down there.
He talked to Stir. The count 2-1. And Sauer on deck.
And the left-hander in the bullpen is Andy Schwope.
That visit over. And Kruger will step back in. Two and one with 1 out. And Aldridge at first. Here's the stretch, the pitch. Aldridge goes. Pitch is a ball, and the throw again on the money, and Aldridge is out. And correction, that was a called strike. It's 2-2.
No, it's not either.
Okay, then it's 3-1.
Well, they just looked down to the base umpire, and he said no. So if they appeal to swing. And apparently, Gary Mitchell and the catcher, Tim Colleen, are talking.
Gary Mitchell signaling that it's 3-1. Here's the pitch. Shot foul at the plate. And the count goes full to Kruger now with the bases empty. Count is full now with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, slow roller, cut off by Stir. The throw to first is too high. Kruger is aboard, thought about now advancing to second, but he'll hold right there, and the Bears keep the inning alive. On a throwing error by Stir, and Kruger on
the first baseman, Jeff Sauer.
On at first for the aboard on an error for the second time this afternoon. The second Iowa error of the day, and here's Jeff Sauer. First pitch to Sauer, ground ball to the right side, stopped by the chest of Kevin Minch, the first baseman, and he'll step on the bag for the out. So after 5, Bears still lead by 1. It's 6-5 Southwest. We'll be back for the last 2 after this.
You wanna accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative.
Enter the world of castles, kings, honor, and glory in the all-new animated series, The Legend of Prince Valiant, with the voices of Robbie Benson and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. Watch The Legend of Prince Valiant.
Gentlemen, in for
Southern Illinois, and pick it up right where she left off, and there's a foul.
We head to the 6th. Iowa rallying last inning, taking advantage of 5 walks yielded by Bears pitching, and now we'll have a couple of cracks at the lead. But Andy Finley, who pitched the Bears out of some trouble yesterday, picked up a win over the Hawkeyes. We'll try to do the same here this afternoon as he's in as we move to the 6th.
Finley came into the ball game, got the, well, actually did not retire a batter. What happened while he was pitching was Backlund got caught trying to steal. Hi. You're supposed to look in the camera and say, "Hi, Mom." The guys behind the camera haven't understood that. 6 hits and 2 runs. Finley allowed yesterday, allowed the 2 runs in the top of the 9th, but the Bears were able to get 4 to get him a win. Or they got 4 in the 8th, I should say. Pop up off the bat of Minch to third base. 1 out. Whiteside getting the final out, final 2 outs in that ball game yesterday after he gave up 2 runs in the top of the 9th. Tim Killeen, the catcher, is up. Strike call, 0-1.
Killeen walked last inning, started the whole mess.
Well, he started the mess with a leadoff walk. Now he hits with 1 out, and breaking stuff from Finley is on the inside part of the plate, and it's 0-2, and Killeen has not been happy with Gary Mitchell. It's that call in the last inning, and now the second strike call to him this time around. It's 0-2. One thing about it, you never really win an argument with the man in blue. Because somewhere, sometime, someplace, he'll come back and he'll get you. 1-2. Breaking pitch, chopped up the first base line. Finley is going to get it and take it to the base himself. 1 unassisted. There's 2 out. Sometimes it's easier for the pitcher to make the play and just race on over to the bag as opposed to taking a chance on throwing the ball.
He had a full head of steam and saw that he was going to beat the runner to the bag.
And it's much easier than taking a chance on stopping and tagging the runner, where you could get into a collision and lose the ball.
Like the way he pounced off the mound. That ball was a slow roller down the right field baseline. He just jumped all over it.
Strike call to Shane Simon.
Rather than wait and let the first baseman make the play and try to cover the bag himself, he was all over it.
Well, if the first baseman fields that ball, then it could be a hit, and they have to have a tag play. Simon with a ground ball to short, takes a hop on Miller, but he keeps it in front of him and throws to first, not in time. And that will be the Bruins' first miscue of the day.
The shortstop, Matt Johnson.
It's the kind of hit that you give the groundskeeper, or the kind of an error that you charge to the groundskeeper.
And went right in the chest of Miller.
So that's going to bring Matt Johnson to the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored in the 5th. His only other at bat in the 3rd produced a ground ball to third. Sauer holds the runner at first. Finley a throw over. And on the other side of the diamond, John Knott is guarding the line at third in the later innings. And the 6th being the late inning of the first game of the doubleheader. Again, a throw to first, and he just did get back in there.
He'd been caught leaning a bit.
Finley possessing a good pickoff move.
He wasn't ready. Been caught a little bit off guard the last 2. That one had to dive back in. Wasn't that far off the bag in the first.
Pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. A left-hander can be deceptive if his front foot does not cross back behind his back foot. I say 1-0 the count. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. is hit and run is on. Ground ball to the shortstop. Miller has it, and he'll throw the man out at first base to retire the side. No runs, one error. It did not hurt. And one runner left stranded on the bases. We go to the bottom of the sixth. The Bears lead by 1.
Gentlemen, in preparing our...
Are you finding it harder and harder to get home in time to watch the evening news? Then you should know about the network that gives you news when you need it. A network made for people on the go. And because it's there all the time.
Mom, do you think this is such a good idea?
It lets you take your time.
And that's the news. Good night.
CNN Headline News. The latest news, business, and sports around the clock.
6-5. Bears have the lead. Bottom of the 6th inning. The Bears are going to send Edding, Nishaw, and Miller to the plate this time around to face Matt Sturr, the second of 2 pitchers for the Hawkeyes here in the ballgame. Bears trying to win their second game of the series. Edding with a double and a strikeout. He's 1 out of 2 today.
Leading off for the Bears, the catcher, Terry Edding.
Sturr entered the game in the 4th. He retired Knott and Lakin in the 4th. Walked Aldrich in the 5th. Had Kruger reach on his throwing error. And he misses with the first pitch to Edding to start the 6th. 6-5. The Bruins with 4 in the 4th. Iowa with all 5 of their runs on 2 hits. In the top of the 5th inning, there's ball 2 and the count 2-0. Bob Morrison on the grass at third for the Bears catcher. Sturr backs him away in the count 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes to count. Play him straight away in the outfield. Edding was 2 for 5 in yesterday's game with a run scored. Strike call. It's 3-1. Bears left 11 men on base. Picked up 12 hits yesterday. Winning at 9-8. Swing and a miss. He went after the 3-1. It's now 3-2. Bears have won 4 straight. Series against Iowa, they won 15 and lost only 9. Edding with a swing and a fly ball into right center field. Catch made by Kraus, and there's 1 out. 1 down. Dan Nishaw is the batter. Nishaw today with a double, an RBI, and a ground ball to third base. Double to drive in the run of the 4th, and he bounces that one foul over to the SMS on deck circle. 1 strike and nothing. Wind turned around now, blowing out towards center field. Breaking stuff, strike called. And a freshman out of Branson in the hole, 0-2. 5'10", 185-pound freshman. Redshirt football player. This is his first year in baseball. Checks his swing. He hits 1-2. So he will be here for 5 years, if you will, if he plays all 4 years of football. Swing and a miss, and the pitch gets away from the catcher, and Nishaw is thrown out at first base by a step. Strikeout for the pitcher. Give the catcher an assist. The first baseman to put out. 3rd strikeout for Matt Sturr since entering the ball game. And here's Bill Miller. Miller 1 for 3, having flied to left, bounced to the first baseman unassisted. And he is single to drive in a run and fouls it out of play. Strike 1. Miller 2 for 3 yesterday. Multi-hit game. With 1 out of 2 against Lincoln in the game before that. So, and 2 for 5 against Mizzou. Pitches a ball 1-1. So after a very, very slow start, Miller beginning to crank it up. A 5-game hitting streak, and he hits one into the corner down the right field line. Miller's going to get 2. He's going to keep going. He's going to try for 3, and he should stand up there, though he does slide in with a triple. So Miller started off slow offensively this year and is starting to come on strong now. Another 2-hit game. His second 2-hit game in a row, and his third in the last 4 games. John Knott is the batter.
Bears would like to do something now with that triple, even though there are 2 outs. Like to turn this into a 1-inning game and try to close the book on this one. You get to tack on another run or 2 and then close the door in the 7th and win number 5 in a row.
Knott takes a strike, 0-1. Can you draw the correlation? I think we said that Miller is hitting 5 in a row, and the Bears have won 4 in a row, looking for their 5th consecutive win. Safe correlation to say that the offense works much better when the leadoff man is getting on base. Show bunt, pitch high, 1-1. Miller today retired his first 2 times up, but he's got an RBI single and now a triple his last 2 at bats. Strike 2 to Knott. One ball and 2 strikes. Base hit could mean another run. The delivery is into the dirt. Throw into the backstop with Miller on third, and that could mean another run for the Bears. Springfield is traditionally an opening stop, one of the first 2 of the year for Iowa. There's one that gets away, and as they say, ask and you shall receive. They're going to go pass ball with that one, which will make the run unearned at this point. So Miller with a triple scores on the pass ball, and it's a 7-5 ball game, and you get your cushion that you're looking for.
It added a piece of the catcher's equipment. I thought it hit 2 things. It might have got a piece of his glove, then off the top of his mask.
That's exactly what it did. The run will be unearned thanks to the wild pitch as Miller goes out on strikes to retire the side in the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left, and we go to the top of the 7th in the first of a doubleheader. The Bears have a 7-5 lead. Top of the 7th inning, it's 7-5. SMS with a lead, and Hanley Finley will go out and look for the save.
A chance to nail it down now. Another run helped, and we get a new pinch hitter, not a pinch hitter, but a new face for the Hawkeyes stepping in.
Yep, new pinch hitter, or a pinch hitter. He'll be batting for Jay Polson. Curtis Reed will swing a bat.
Sort of. He showed bunt.
4 out of 9 this year. Strike call, 0-1. Played second base yesterday, 1 out of 3. The 0-1 pitch, breaking stuff, strike call, and there's nothing in 2. And Finley looking very sharp with the breaking stuff. Two strikes, nobody out. Bears lead by 2. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3, 1 gone. So Finley getting his first strikeout. Only base runner that Andy is allowed today. Reached on the air by the shortstop. And Larson is the scheduled hitter. Swing and a miss, strike one. The 0-1, breaking ball, strike two call. Two strikes the count. One out, nobody on base. Hawkeyes need a run to bring the tying run to the plate. Swinging a foul. That one hit the mask of the catcher and then hit Gary Mitchell in the chest protector. Count stays 0-2. Mike Whitley scheduled to get the start for SMS in game 2 of the doubleheader. The 0-2 pitch. Sidearm swing and a miss. Larson down on strikes, and Bob Morris is the batter. He's 2 for 3 with a 2-run single in the 5th. Singled in the 4th and struck out, so he's 2 out of 3. And he represents the final hope for the Hawkeyes. Final hope in game 1 of the doubleheader. Tried to bunt, bunts it foul, 0-1. One strike to count. Bears looking for win number 5 in a row. Currently 6-4. Finley from the side. Fastball fouled back. 0-2. Two out, nobody on base. Finley trying to shut it down. And there's a bouncer by the pitcher. Second baseman Aldrich by the bag. Throws wide at first base, and the throw pulls him off. And that's going to be a base hit for Bob Morris. And Matt Krause is the scheduled hitter.
Matt Krause.
Krause, the scheduled batter, will be setting back, and Steve Eddy, infielder, junior out of Storm Lake, Iowa. You know what Storm Lake, Iowa is famous for. And at this point, I don't think it's for producing Steve Eddy just yet. As Eddy hits. You know what Storm Lake, Iowa is famous for? Eddy 0 for 2 for the year. Isn't that where Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, crashed?
Oh my.
That is the locale. So Finley facing a right-hander. Fastball is high, ball 1.
Is it that all Iowa towns are something bizarre associated with them to make them famous? One of them is
Lamoni.
Elvis is spotted.
Elvis is spotted at a swap meet in Lamoni, Iowa. At a college named after his house.
Graceland, that's right.
It's a pitch inside. Count 2-0. No, when you broadcast your games on a station that the Big Bopper worked at down in Texas, you get regaled with people with stories about that by guys who were there when he was there. So that tells you something about the morning guy there. He's an old feller. Strike call. 2-1. Last out, always the toughest. Finley trying to nail it down and pick up the save, which would be his first of the year. Pitch is high. 3-1. Whiteside, who picked up the save yesterday, and Billy Brent working in the SMS bullpen. 7-5, Steve Eddy, the tying run. 3-1 the count. See if they turn him loose. They do not, and there's ball 4. So the tying run on base, lead run at the plate. And
The designated hitter.
Brett Backlund, the designated hitter, is due up. Tying run at first base. And here comes Keith Gutt. May see Chan Whiteside. Keith looks down at the pin.
And give it a long look.
And heads to the mound. A man who has something on his mind, and he's ready to pull the trigger. You get a look at the SMS bullpen. And with a look down at the pin, that's pretty obvious. When Keith goes to the mound, he usually pulls the pitcher, and that's exactly what he's doing. Is Chan Whiteside comes into the ballgame. So the pitching change once again, and Whiteside becomes the 5th pitcher in 9 innings for SMS. Pitching change being made with the tying runs on base in the top of the 7th. Our score, it's SMS 7, Iowa 5.
When you do it right, you'll grow up healthy, out of sight. Nutrition Edition. Mix and match the 4 food groups. Balance together, good for you. Nutrition Edition. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add us up and we're so much more. Nutrition Edition. Good for you, the thing to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. To raise your score. It all adds up. It all adds up. It all adds up to you.
On his way to Atlantic City.
Oh, no, cop.
Chevy Chase just made the wrong turn.
What is this place?
Welcome to Volcanavia.
You'll be confined herein.
Good night, Harry. You gonna enjoy it, right?
Where there's only one way to escape.
Hula, 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 the boola, boola, boola.
Demi Moore. John Candy.
Doing something different with your hair?
And Dan Aykroyd.
Kiss your bride. Plenty of time for that on the honeymoon.
Now, in Nothing But Trouble.
Lucy, I'm home.
Brett Backlund is the batter to face Chan Whiteside. Whiteside worked 2/3 of an inning yesterday and walked 1. 0-1 in 3 games, this being his 4th appearance with 1 save and a 9-point earned run average. 6 innings, 7 hits, and 6 runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He's allowed 2 home runs. And perhaps the Bears discovering the secret to Whiteside might be to just let him go through the order 1 time. In other words, put him in the closer's role. Pitch inside, ball 1. Because both times that he has been hurt, and I say hurt in games, been hit, was the 2nd time through the order. Against K-State and also against Mizzou. Finley worked 2 innings, allowed a hit, walked 1, struck out 2. Whiteside trying to save it for Bart Evans. Pitches high, 2-0. So Finley doing yeoman-like work in this one. Got out of that 5-run 5th. And got through the 6th and gets it to the 7th inning. 1st and 2nd, 2 out, the 2-0. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. To Brett Backlund. Kevin Minch on deck, and he's 0 for 3 with 2 pops to 3rd and a strikeout. .30. The delivery is on the inside part of the plate. 3-1. Morris at 2nd. Steve Eddy at 1st. 2 men out. There's ball 4.
Oh, boy.
So the base is loaded. Now a base hit would tie the game.
And buckle up, folks.
Nobody said it would be easy. That is walk number 8 issued by SMS pitching today. 5 of them scored, but 2 more of them are sitting on base. Minch is the hitter, and here comes Keith Gutton, and he's got Billy Brent in the bullpen, and Keith is going to play the percentages, it looks like. As Keith gets to the mound. Well, I don't know. He may be talking over what he wants to do with this hitter. You have to wonder if you want Whiteside facing Minch or Billy Brent facing perhaps a right-handed batter.
They've had Minch figured out today, though. He's popped up twice and struck out.
And we're going to see the left-hander.
Now pitching for the Bears, number 35.
No, Billy Brent will be the 6th pitcher here in the first game of the doubleheader. And again, a pitching change being made with the bases loaded and 2 out of the 7th this time. Our score, it's SMS 7, Iowa 5.
Bears back to a double-digit lead, 66-56, ended up overall.
One movie studio claimed to have more stars than there were in heaven. They were right. Watch TNT in March for the world premiere of MGM, When the Lion Roars. TNT's extraordinary 3-part series that takes you behind the scenes of the world's greatest dream factory. MGM, When the Lion Roars. Plus MGM's greatest movies every day. This March on TNT.
Well, Whiteside walks the only man that he faces, so the bases, they are loaded. And a reminder that today's game brought to you in part by Contractor Supply Company. The folks at Contractor Supply have been supporting Bears baseball telecasts on Cable 20 by providing the lifts for a number of seasons, and our thanks to them for their help in televising SMS Bears baseball. Billy Brent is going to face Kevin Minch, and Brent comes in, no decisions in 3 games with a 13.50 earned run average. In 2 2/3 innings, Billy has allowed 5 hits and 4 runs with 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. And he has allowed 1 home run. Thrown 2 wild pitches. So Brent will go back and tuck in his shirt. And Kevin Minch will step in to face him. So Iowa electing not to run the pinch hitter out there. They've already used 1, 2, 3 guys off the bench today. And let Minch face the left-hander Brent. Base hit would tie it. Long ball would give the Hawkeyes the lead. Game 1 of 2. And Brent's first pitch catches the outside corner, strike 1, and now it's Billy Brent who could pick up that first save of the year. Bears as a staff have but 1.
That came yesterday.
Yep. 0-1. Thing is, they've used 6 pitchers, but 2 of them have not thrown an official inning. Craddock did not retire anybody, neither did Whiteside. Schaefer worked 2/3 of an inning, got a double play. So point is that all the guys who've been in have not thrown that many pitches, with the exception of Finley, who worked 2 innings. The delivery from Brent, breaking stuff. It stays inside. 1-1. Edding looks into the dugout, gets the pitch call from Keith Gutton. The 1-1 to Billy Brent is hit towards second base. That could do it. Aldridge has it. And the throw is in time. And that's the ball game. So Brent comes in, picks up the save. In the inning, no runs on 1 hit, 3 men left. And the Bears win the opener 7-5. Back with the totals in just a moment.
Real